Hey you guys, it's me Laura from scrapsofencouragement.com, and today I'm here with you for another sketch challenge. This sketch is perfect to feature larger images or larger focal points, and for today's card I'm using the Gang's All Mirror stamp set from Stampin' Up! At the time of recording, these stamps are still available. With your Stampin' Up! Demonstrator, if you purchase a $50 purchase, you can get this stamp set for free. And for the sentiment, I used a stamp from the Healing Hugs stamp set, but as usual, this card can be made with whatever you have. So make sure to stay tuned till the end, and I am going to show you a bunch of other cards that I made using this sketch. Why don't we go ahead and get started for this one? So I have my front panel, which I cut out with some stitched rectangle dies. You can use your paper trimmer, make them whatever size you need to fit your image. And I am stamping mine today with Tuxedo Black Memento ink because I'm going to be doing some Copic coloring. It's actually National Crafting Month, so this is a great time to make some goals for yourself and get some extra crafting in. And kind of as part of that, or to dovetail with that, this is the 30-day coloring challenge from the Daily Marker, and I'll be sure to link that below. So in honor of that, I'm doing lots of coloring for this card today. And after I stamped my meerkats on, I'm going to go ahead and mask this off. So I'm stamping them again. This is just a full back post-it note, and I'm going to cut this out around my meerkats because I want to add a cactus in the background there, but I want it to kind of be connected. So I'm really only cutting close where I'm going to be stamping that cactus. There's no need to cut close around the whole thing. And I'm cutting as close as I can to those lines, right on top of them if possible. And I'm going to just stick this over my image and stamp my cactus down. And I'm just using my fine liner here, my black marker, to extend the ground a little bit so that it fills up that full panel. And I'm going to go right on in and start with my coloring. Now I'll show you these colors on screen, but I will also have the full list of colors that I used over on my blog, so you can see everything that I used, but you can use whatever colors you have, just have fun with it. I'm doing my full background here with my light balmy blue, and I'm not going for super solid, I'm just kind of giving it a good shade to give kind of the illusion of sky in the background. I'm using my Ivory Stampin' Blend to color in the sand, and I'm going with the light soft suede to add some shadows for the meerkats and the cactus. For my cactus, I'm going to start by adding light SOE Saffron, and I know that yellow might seem a little funny, but I got a reference photo and I'm kind of going to layer, and you'll see what I'm doing when this is all done. It'll look good when it's finished. And I'm going to go over that SOE Saffron with my light Old Olive, and then I'm going to go over that just on the edge with my dark Old Olive, and then I'm going to shade it in again with my light Old Olive. And this will give kind of some depth and some shape to the cactus, and so it will look a lot better in the end. For the flowers, I'm using my Dark and Light Lovely lipstick, and they're really small, so I'm just doing some very, very basic shading with that. For my little meerkats, I'm going to start by making the dark circles around their eyes, and for that I'm using my bronze Stampin' Blend marker. And for their bodies, I'm going to use light and dark Chrome Cake, and I'm going to use those two colors just to do some basic shading around their bodies and some blending in with my lighter color. that is all for the coloring for this card. I had so much fun bringing these little guys to life. So now it's time for me to work on my panel on my card. You can totally use pattern paper for this, but I'm going to be making my own design. I'm going to be using Versamark ink and clear embossing powder. And I have a piece of 4 1/4 by 2.5 inch pear pizzazz paper. And I'm gonna go ahead and prep it with my anti-static powder tool. And then I'm going to stamp more cactuses all around this panel just to fill it up. And then I'm going to take this card and cover it with clear embossing powder and set that with my heat tool, and it's just going to give a fun something that's a little extra without it being overpowering. I recommend stamping your sentiment before you glue your panel down to your card base like I did, just in case something goes wrong with the stamping. But I went ahead and glued that down and then kind of positioned things so that I could make sure that I had my sentiment positioned right where it needed to be. And then I adhered the colored panel with some dimensionals. And if you know me, I have a hard time getting things straight. So for this one, I went ahead and pulled out my T-ruler, and I used that to help me line up this panel on the card so that I could make sure that it was where it needed to be. And now I'm going to go ahead and work on the inside. So for the inside, I'm going to keep things pretty basic, and I'm going to stamp the cactus on one side of the inside and this little meerkat poking out of the hole on the other. And I'm going to color it using the same colors and the same methods that I did with the outside of the card. For my envelope, I'm going to grab another one of those adorable meerkat stamps, and I'm stamping it on the outside, and then I'm putting a piece of cardstock on the inside of my envelope so that the markers don't bleed through. And I really love these Stampin' Up! Envelopes for stamping or coloring or anything like that. They just handle ink so beautifully. So I'm going to go ahead and color this meerkat as well. And that is all for this meerkat Get Well card. This stamp set is just absolutely adorable. I love it, and this is such a fun way to enjoy the coloring challenge for this month. I wanted to go ahead and show you a couple other ways that you could use this card sketch as well to get completely different looks. For this one, I used a very different patterned paper. I turned the sketch over on its side. I used the Healing Hug stamp set, the same one that I used for the sentiment for the meerkat. And I feel like this just gives you a more elegant look using the same kind of card sketch. And of course, I made a matching envelope as well. And for this one, it's a completely different look altogether. I used some paper from the Bird Ballad Suite from Stampin' Up! As well as a stamp set from the Free as a Bird. And I watercolored this based on some of the birds that they have on the paper. And I used a little bit of lace for the transition between the solid background and the patterned paper. And I was just really happy with the way that this one turned out. So you can see all three of these are very different looks, but they all use the same card sketch. And I hope that you have a lot of fun with this card sketch as well. If you do this sketch challenge, please be sure to tag me with hashtag SOE Sketch Challenge so that I can see it. And I'd love to hear what you're doing for National Craft Month this month. If you're doing anything special, if you're participating in the color challenge or anything like that, I would love to know. And please be sure to visit my blog where you'll see links to all the supplies that I used in today's card, as well as some close-up pictures and some more information about the other cards here. And I just want to thank you so much for watching and for joining me here on my channel. And as always, I hope you find joy in creating as you spread kindness and encouragement with your scraps of paper. I'll talk to you later. Bye.